Hello, in this video we are going to discuss about a financial function called as INTRATE. Before we implement this function in Power BI, let's try to understand what this function means with some definition and with the help of simple example in Excel. Here is the definition and the syntax. Returns the interest rate for a fully invested security. And if I scroll a bit, we have the syntax and it takes 5 parameters and the last parameter is optional. And we have the definition for this parameter settlement, the security settlement date. The security settlement date is the date after the issue date when the security is traded to the buyer. And we have the maturity, the security's maturity date. The maturity date is the date when the security expires, and the investment is the amount invested in the security, and redemption, the amount to be received at a maturity. And we have the last parameter, which is optional. And you can input the values from 0 to 4 and basis of the way the day count is considered. And the return value is the interest rate, and we have some remarks and also the formula to calculate the interest manually. So I'm not going to get into all the details, but with the help of an example, let's try to understand this in Excel and later try to implement the same in PBI. So this is the example which we are going to solve in Excel. So now let me quickly move to Excel and then try to solve this function. So here I have all the information what is required. So I have the settlement date, that is Feb 15, 2008, and maturity date, that is May 15th, 2008. And also the invested amount is 1 million and redemption value is 1,014,420. So with this data, let's try to calculate the INTRATE using a manual formula, and then let's use the Excel built-in function. So I'm going to input the data here. So if you look here, redemption minus investment divided by investment times B is a number of days in a year depending on the year basis, and number of days from settlement to maturity. Okay, so this is the difference between the settlement date and the maturity date. Okay, and B is the basis, whether it's a 360 or actual or something like that. So what I'm going to do is create a formula here. Redemption, this is my redemption value minus investment, and then close the parenthesis here, divided by the invested amount here. Again, it's 1 million times B, number of days in a year depending on the year basis. So let's consider 360 and divided by number of days from the settlement to maturity. So in this case, it's a difference between maturity date and settlement date, which is 90 days. Hit enter. And now we have the interest rate. So click OK. So 5.77. So this is how we calculate the interest manually. Okay. Now let's try to do the same thing using Excel built-in function. Interest equal to interest, the settlement date here. So this is the one, and the maturity date we have it here. Invested amount here is 1 million. Redemption value 1,014,420, and the basis we are going to select second one, that is actual 360, 2, and we have it here. So change this to percentage, click OK, and we have the results. So this is how we calculate the interest manually and using a built-in function. And now let's try to do the same thing in Power BI. It's exactly the same, but let's give a try. Here I have the same information which I shared with you in Excel. So I have the settlement date, maturity date, invested amount, and redemption value. So one important thing here is the settlement date, the format, right? It should be always in a date format. If you have the date in the form of a string, you will get an error. Okay, that's an important point here. So let's quickly go to the report now. So now let's try to create a measure. Click on new measure and then call this as INTRATE equal to int rate. So we have it here, and you can see it takes 5 parameter and the last one being optional. So I'm going to use the settlement date. So use selected value from the column settlement date, and then selected value and the maturity date, and then selected value is my investment amount, and then selected value from my redemption amount or redemption value, and basis we selected 2, and I'm going to use the same here. Hit enter. Okay, so now let me bring this here. Change this to percentage. And we have it here. So this is how we calculate INTRATE in Power BI and also in Excel. I hope this video was helpful. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to share with your friends or colleagues. Okay. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.